Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Enlightening Your Way. I'm your host, Nancy Lombardo. We are airing on the official Lilydale Assembly Facebook page and YouTube channel. I'm a leaseholder here in Lilydale and the president of the Church Living Spirit, which is an independent spiritualist church here on the grounds. I'm a military veteran, retired police detective, fitness and yoga instructor, and wellness is my passion. My show is a combination of my many life experiences and features a variety of topics and guests to enrich one's mind, body, and soul on your pathway to healthy living. My website is Wellness with Nancy Lombardo, where my motto is protecting and serving your well-being. And today, my very special guest is Lori Sheridan. Lori is a psychic medium, spiritual teacher, and ordained spiritualist minister who is also a certified medium with the Forever Family Foundation. For nearly 20 years, she has shared messages of love, comfort, and healing through readings, workshops, and public demonstrations. Lori is the author of Soul Compass, Trusting Your Intuition and the Wisdom Within, and she is passionate about helping others trust their intuition and recognizing the enduring presence of love. And find out everything about Lori at her website, LoriSheridanMedium.com. Thank you, Lori. Thank you for being here today, and welcome.
It's my absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for having me, Nancy.
So the first thing I'd like to ask you, because you gave me such a short little bio, and for our audience that may be meeting you for the first time, what else do you want to share about who you are and what you do?
Well, you've already said some of it, but I'm definitely passionate about connecting with others, connecting with spirit, and really empowering people, I think, in their lives and trusting their intuition and trusting themselves. But in addition to that, I do love serving a lot of churches locally. And as far as I know, you're into a lot of fitness, and I like walks on the beach. So I'm fortunate. I live in Massachusetts, and I'm by the water, by Situate, Massachusetts. So I feel like I am lucky to live in a little piece of heaven over here. So I like to enjoy walks there. And then I have a beautiful family. So I'm a mom. I have 2 boys. And a husband who is wonderful to support me in, being an encourager of this work. So that's nice that I have that. And yeah, I mean, I just feel very blessed to get to do what I love, which is working with people on a daily basis and really helping, hopefully, to foster connections for hope and healing through mediumship and intuition.
Yeah, because that's what it's all about. What did you do prior to, because you've been doing this 20 years, so was there something else before this?
There was another life, yes. No, my husband always teases me because he's like, I'm so glad that we're using that degree, Lori, that you work so hard for. So I actually have an undergraduate degree in print journalism, and then I've always worked in the nonprofit sector because I always wanted to be giving back and helping others. So, I worked actually at United Way of Massachusetts Bay. So doing a lot of programming and support efforts to build community, fostering self-sufficiency and independence, and also worked in higher education for a period of time as well. Again, trying to open doors and accessibility for education for all. And then I guess I have been a little busy over here. But one of my last jobs was actually working. It was the Appalachian Mountain Club, which is along the Appalachian Trail. And It was awesome. Yeah, exactly. And there's a hut system in New Hampshire, and then also several lodges throughout New England. So it's the preservation of the trail, the preservation of outdoors, and really helping people to access the outdoors. And so I did a lot of work in supporting that mission as well. So you get a little bit about me just from that. And then
I've worn a lot of hats.
I have, yes.
You have. So normally I believe mediums are either born with their gifts, near-death experience, or heredity. When did you learn about your gifts, and how do you believe you got them?
I believe that we're born with them too, Nancy. So I think as a young child, it's kind of like things that I didn't really know what it was, or I didn't really make much of it, if that makes any sense. So, I can remember seeing lights, kind of seeing spirit, like as an adult. When I look back, I'm like, oh, that's what that was. So as a child, I remember kind of being lulled to sleep and seeing all these lights dance around my room and not really think anything of it. And then, as a young person, maybe feeling or sensing the presence of, spirit or a guide or something like this. But I would say, for me, it definitely felt like a calling or a shift that happened. I felt like a voice that I kind of felt say, okay, you're supposed to be helping others as a spiritual counselor. You just finished this degree that you worked so hard for. And now it's time to be helping others in a different capacity. And I really didn't know what that meant. And I was guided kind of synchronistically, to the First Spiritualist Church of Quincy, where I met my mentor and now colleague and good friend, Reverend Rita Berkowitz, a spirit artist who's really beloved through New England. Yes, And I will say, though, for me also, experiencing loss also helped to open my heart, open my mind, open my soul to the greater understanding of the potential of mediumship to bring about healing and deepen that connection. And so as an adult, I don't usually talk about it, but I ended up losing a baby. And that also really deepened my desire to give back to families and to parents that had gone through similar situations. So helping them to recognize that their loved ones are still with them. Yeah.
I'm so sorry. That's an incredible loss.
I don't usually share it, so probably a little too public, but yeah.
It just goes to show your intent, how intentful this is and how meaningful this is to you.
It is. And I feel like it definitely helped to open the door and really understanding the importance of this work and the difference that it can make in the lives of others.
100%. First of all, I'd like to say Rita spoke at our church a couple of weeks ago. So, Rita is loved here in Lilydale. She used to spend a lot of time here in Lilydale when Janet Nohavik had a house here. So she's a good friend of Lilydale and a dear friend of our church for sure. So I adore her also. There's no doubt about that. So what do you believe trusting your abilities to the fullest? What does that mean when you say trust and trust? Because we always talk about.
Even though we say trust, I feel like it is something that we're continuously working on, no matter who we are. So even though, I'm talking about it, some of it is just recognizing that we do have that eternal compass, that eternal soul, and that we really are guided. And it is learning to recognize the simple ways, perhaps, that we can connect with that wisdom that can be found within. So although I say trust, I wouldn't say that it's like a light switch that, you just flip and all of a sudden it's so easy, right? So I do feel like it's kind of a practice, and sometimes it definitely takes time, but perhaps over time we begin to see that when we listened or we followed those breadcrumbs, when we followed that guidance, and so often we find that within ourselves, and even, through synchronistic events and things being mirrored back to us in our surroundings, that it's almost like, natural law, kind of being in the flow of life rather than fighting it. And listening to those gut instincts, those nudges, and embracing them and trusting. So I just feel like it's an ongoing process, though, too. So, that's something that we work on as well, no matter who we are and at whatever stage we are in our lives.
Oh, totally. I like the little breadcrumbs, too. And like you said, you have to practice. I mean, it's definitely a practice. It's an unfolding. It's a continuous unfolding, I believe.
Absolutely.
Sure. And you've been doing this work now for over 20 years. How has your own mediumship evolved in those 20 years?
Well, I make a joke. Well, thank goodness it has. No, Because no, I mean, I think that's one of the greatest gifts of the unfoldment, and even just the journey of life a little bit is, we're not who we were 10 years ago, and not 5 years ago, but I would say it's still like, I love it because it's still so exciting, like just to feel that connection, that passion, and to be a part of that, to share in that with the spirit world and with a sitter, or, that's like, wow, it still amazes me. It still excites me every time that magic happens, And as far as the journey goes, it's lovely, because I remember meeting Rita, and Rita won't mind. She definitely was a tough teacher. So, we tease her now that she's softened a little bit. But no, I'm just so grateful, because it was really starting to learn the language of spirit, how spirit was communicating. And, in the beginning, you might see something, you might feel something, you might hear something, but I didn't really have an understanding of what was happening. And taking classes helped me to better understand basically that language, how I was receiving information, and to grow in more confidence in that ability to trust, to give what I get, and to allow the spirit world to work through me, rather than trying to control it, so to speak. Sometimes our fear or our doubt, or we want it to be a certain way. For me, working on releasing that fear around it, and surrendering and letting the spirit world kind of lead, has helped me tremendously in my growth and that unfoldment. And that, again, lends itself to trust and that partnership, that the spirit world walks beside us, with us, and they want us to succeed.
Yeah, they do. I mean, I truly believe that. You're right. You talk about hard teachers. I had coordinated a workshop some years back for Mavis and Janet. Woo, a whole week.
Tough. I bet you learned a lot. Yes, that would have been a fabulous class. Good for you.
Yeah, they were tough teachers, but they just demanded, because they knew that's what spirit wanted also.
Exactly. Yes.
So you probably don't even know this, but I had Bob Ginsberg on my show a year or so ago, and we talked all about Forever Family Foundation and the good work that organization does. And I know you are one of their certified mediums.
Yeah.
We do test our mediums here in Lilydale, but can you explain about the rigorous testing you go through to become a Forever Family?
Sure. Absolutely. So with the Forever Family Foundation, first of all, for those who aren't familiar, it's just a fabulous organization that really goes to great lengths, I think, to be a resource for individuals and families who have experienced loss, and to do it with integrity and with a lot of credibility. So they're trying to connect people to mediums and resources for healing, really. And they do a lot of retreats, and they actually do a lot of, I think, research as well on the afterlife consciousness, and helping us to better understand that, which, is fabulous, with the science aspect of it as well. And as far as the testing goes, I'm like, I can't remember all the details that we're, supposed to share with everything, but definitely more information on their website. But it was 5 readings that I had to do. And of course, they're all blind readings. You don't know who you're talking to. And, you have a set amount of time that you have to give, very detailed evidence. And then I think, they're ending up scaling your readings and letting you know if you pass or if you don't. And I can tell you, I was definitely very nervous, saying my prayers, okay, Spirit, if this is meant to happen, you're going to have to take the wheel here. And I'm so grateful, because I did pass, and it has opened doors to getting to meet so many wonderful people on their journeys, other colleagues, make new friends, but also to, again, be a part of that process with the retreats and giving back. And I'm just so very grateful, because they really do wonderful work and help a lot of people, which is what it's all about.
Yeah, and he has top-notch scientists working with him.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. We don't get the mediums because we can't be part of the breakout sessions and stuff with so I'm like, I want to get some of this information. We get a little bit of it, but yeah, there's just so much. His dedication to the research aspect of it is just it's really wonderful and needed. So thank you, Bob, and the Forever Family Foundation.
I'm sure you're a lovely addition to that family, and the fact that you suffered your own loss only makes that connection with those people stronger, I'm sure.
Thank you.
What they're going through for sure.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your book a bit. What inspired you to write Soul Compass?
Oh, fabulous. So, really, I had it's been kind of like a goal. Okay, let's write a book someday. Yeah, okay. But what's the story? What do people need, And so even though I might have had this hope, for actually several years, I didn't know what it was supposed to be about. I hadn't found how am I supposed to help people? And then it was literally I had several clients come in back to back, and they're like, Lori, can you help me with my intuition? How can I do this on my own? And so they were repeatedly asking me, okay, can you do this? And how do you do this? And then the light bulb just went off. That's it. That's what people need. They need basic steps to help them recognize, because it is, how do I know if it's my imagination? How do I know if it's coming from my soul? How do I trust it? What is the guide, and what tools can I use too? Because, there's, whether it's oracle cards, whether it's pendulums, tarot, tea leaves, all different tools, but what other psychic tools, what ways does the soul speak to us? And so that was really where the book came from, was how can I empower others? And it took a while to figure out what that was supposed to be about. And it was funny, one of the clients, again, synchronistic events, one of my clients came and she said, okay, Lori, now you're going to do this book. And she said, if you write the book, I'll help you get it published. And I was like, okay, well then I'm going to definitely get going. And so again, and she was one of the people that had asked for help with this. So it was just, it's so interesting how the connections that we make and how things just kind of come together. And so that's where it derived from.
Yeah, I've been talking about writing a poetry book for years, and I'm actually putting it together. It's actually forming. I was like, yay. But I'm a lot of work. So one thing talking about, it's another thing actually doing it for sure.
Exactly.
How did you come up with your title? Soul Compass.
The Soul Compass, I know. Literally a lot of this went through many iterations, the title, because I'm like, oh, but I knew I wanted to use soul, and because it was connecting with the soul. And then literally just having, through meditation, all of a sudden the visual of it's a compass, and that's kind of where it came from. And then, I had, my girlfriends, okay, what do you think about this? Oh no, that's horrible. Go back, try again. But finally got the consensus on trusting your intuition and the wisdom within, and the compass spoke. Everybody agreed that was the right imagery, so that's kind of where it came from.
I'll give you an image right off the bat, just saying it. So yeah, I like that.
that.
My show, Mind, Body, and Soul. I like the word soul for sure. And
exactly. Soul. Yeah.
So for someone listening who might feel disconnected from their own intuition, where would you advise them to begin?
Well, so I always think about the clairs, not getting into too much detail, but paying attention to what you're seeing, feeling, hearing, and knowing. And then I really feel like the gateway to the soul is meditation. And I do have people, of course, that, they're like, oh, I hate meditating. This is horrible. But it's recognizing that, meditation comes in different forms as well. Whether that's going for a walk in the woods, the beach, there's different ways that we can enter that space of shifting, I'll say maybe our awareness, or getting out of the thinking mind and going into that stillness, going into the quiet, and really beginning to listen. And I'm certainly not an expert meditator, because there's good days, bad days, and everything in between. Some days where you just can't shake that to-do list, right? And then other days it's just being washed over with a quiet knowing, and I think of, big decisions I made in my own life, and really questioning, is this the right time? Is this where I'm meant to go? What I'm meant to do? And for me, the tools in helping to move forward and trust that intuition was prayer. So just prayer, giving it to God, and also meditation. And I can remember before I left my my nonprofit job with beautiful health insurance and steady paycheck. Exactly. Before I took it, and it wasn't a decision that happened quickly. I had worked obviously doing both jobs for a while. But again, synchronistic events happen, but it was a long time of praying and meditating, because at first it was a no, it wasn't the right time, and it took until finally it shifted, and just even using your body as a pendulum, that feeling of, okay, it's time, even if I'm still nervous or I'm scared, it's a yes finally, and so I think sometimes also just allowing ourselves to sit with it. We often want to make that decision so quickly, but I often find that the answer kind of rises to the surface eventually. It's just waiting, sometimes that divine timing versus our timing. But meditation to me is key, paying attention to your dreams. I get a lot of guidance through my dream space. So I might ask for guidance before I go to bed. Yeah. And then what did I get as a message sometimes? So that's another powerful thing. And then again, asking for signs. That's another tool that I will lean into, although I'm like, I want that sign 3 times, not just once, like, okay. But, and then, again, paying attention for me, a lot of times it's how am I feeling? If I feel like throwing up, that's probably going to be a no. It's not the right time, right? And then sometimes you get that, what are you doing? You're not supposed to be here. Or, so it's just really starting to trust those impressions, trust those feelings. And a lot of times I think the gut instinct or that gut feeling, that's a perfect example of the intuition speaking, a knowing, something that's saying this feels right, or maybe it doesn't. Yeah. And the more we might pay attention to it or even journal it, you can start to see, oh, that was definitely my intuition speaking. So that's another tool potentially, is it's just having maybe a mindfulness and even trying to pay attention to it as well.
Oh yeah, I always say my time as a police officer, trusting my intuition was everything. It was everything.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, so I understand that. And I've said many times about the meditation, because people, I can't sit there in the quiet. You don't have to. My best meditating is out running. That's my best meditating, is when I'm running.
That's it.
People have to find their niche of what it is, can get them out of that mind space into that other sacred space. Whatever it takes and whatever it is. And it's all different for all of us.
Exactly. So it's finding what works for you.
Right.
Exactly. Because there's a great book, I think it's the Book of Joy, which is a book that features a little bit about the Dalai Lama and Archbishop Desmond Tutu. So 2 spiritual leaders of different faiths and practices. Right. And, if you're the Dalai Lama, you're up at, I think it was 3 or 4 a.m. meditating every day. That's how he starts his day. And then Desmond Tutu goes for, I think he may have passed since the book, but he used to go for a walk every morning. So just really incredible how, again, we can, like you're saying, we do it in different ways, but we're still achieving that connection. Yeah. And that's what it's all about. And knowing that we can find that connection within us.
I meant to ask you, were you raised in a different religion?
So I guess I was technically raised Catholic,
Mhm.
but I would say very loosely so, very loosely. My mother thought she was being very liberated because I think I was 8 years old, and she's like, okay, I'm letting you decide at 8, okay. So I got baptized, I did CCD, all that good stuff.
All the stuff, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that was kind of a big deal because I think she was trying to give me freedom, even though at 8, it's still kind of
Yeah,
young. Yeah, and
that's pretty
to
cool,
say.
actually.
But
Yeah.
she was actually trying to help me to have an awareness of, finding my truth, so to speak. And so I'm very fortunate. My mother has since passed away, but she was very much supportive of um, just open-minded to different faiths, and so I felt very supported in pursuing spiritualism, that that was my path and what was right for me. Just to know that she was able to embrace that was really nice, so
There's definitely some similarities, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Um, I was just curious when you were talking about it. We're not all just born into spiritualism, that's for sure.
exactly, exactly.
You are, as a matter of fact. Um, what's something you've witnessed that has brought you a deep sense of peace about life after death?
Great question. So in doing this work for a long time, I think, sometimes we question, is this real,
Oh, yeah.
and in doing this work, not every session, but some of those sessions are so powerful and magical. It's as if the atmosphere shifts, and the presence of the discarnate or the loved one on the other side is so palpable. And the evidence of their presence and their existence and the facts and the ways that they're able to communicate. That's, not every session. But when that happens, that to me, that's it. I mean, that's when you recognize life does continue, absolutely. And in losing, my mother passed last October, and losing, we've all experienced loss in some form, but that was a big one too. And at first, okay, I'm a medium, where are you? Where are you? Let me feel you.
Right.
Because it's just that void, that absence, and we're searching for that connection and that validation. And, I remember the morning after she passed, we get the heaviness of grief. And just when I woke up and I looked out my window, it was a beautiful sunrise. And I just felt in that quiet stillness in that moment, I just felt her presence. It wasn't anything like, oh, but it was just a real comfort. I felt her presence just being in love, and felt very reassured that she was still there. And that was a powerful moment for me as well. So in some ways, doing the work and witnessing some of these connections is validating of the other side and that eternal soul. And then just in our own personal moments, that was powerful for me as well.
Yeah, that's beautiful, actually. Beautiful. So, I know in the 20 years of doing this, you must take on the weight sometimes of what people bring to you. So, what do you do for self care?
Well, Nancy, this I guess a reason we're talking today. No, I'm joking. Teasing. Um, no, but for me, meditation is absolutely one of the ways I do self-care. And then it is trying to, I think I need to make more time for getting outside, doing more walking, things like that. So, but those are things that I find that really nurture my soul. I mentioned I live by the water. So I like to take my dog. I have a little beagle, and we try. I don't know if you've walked a beagle before. Good luck.
We
But
had a beagle when I was growing up. We had a beagle.
okay, yeah, so exactly, but it's pull. But anyways, but going for walks, and I also there's a beautiful river by where I live too. And I liked it. So it's surrounded by trees. There's a nice path and it opens up. And so those things really speak to me and nurture my soul. So those are the things. And then sometimes as simple as putting on a movie, and just trying to relax. I like the drama, feel goods. I do like a happy ending though.
Right. Yeah. No sad endings.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of walking, you're going to come to Lilydale for the first time, and you're going to get to walk in our old growth forest and touch these trees that are hundreds of years old. That'll give you great comfort.
Yeah.
Are you excited about coming to Lilydale?
I am so excited, really. It's been a place that I wanted to go since, I remember, when I first discovered spiritualism, I felt like I was home, and then I saw Dem years ago with Janet No Havoc and Rita, and I had to learn more about what is this place, Lilydale, and the journey within, and, and I'm just so, it's been a place that I have felt called to get to, but also, the responsibilities of being a mom and looking after the family. I haven't always had the freedom to do some of those things. So it's really, I'm so excited to get to go and experience it, and then just be in that presence, be in that energy there. So I'm really looking to soak it all up. Thanks.
Yeah, it's a undoubtable energy when you come through that gate. Everybody says it because of the shared practice of this energy for so many hundreds of years, over 100 years, 140, whatever we're going on. I've lost track. Somewhere.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's calming. It's nurturing. It's all of it for sure. We're excited to be having you as one of our presenters this summer. And I know that you teach lots of classes where you're at and other places. So what will you be teaching here in Lilydale and when?
All right. So I'm going to be in Lilydale this July. So 3 classes. Just looking at my notes here. So the first one is getting the clincher, which is all about getting those unique aspects of evidence that really help the sitter to know, you have my person. You're with my loved one.
So that's an important class for sure. People want that. You're right. They want that.
So that'll be a good one, July 13th. And then Soul Discovery, Awakening Your Intuition. So whether you're a beginner or even if you've been doing this for a while, that day is really going to be dedicated to, taking that time to recognize the wisdom within, whether through meditation. We're also going to explore oracle cards as a tool as well, to tap into that intuition as a mirror of what you already know to be true. So meditation, signs, the senses, the different ways that you are basically getting guided by the soul. So it'll be a fun one. And then the last one is the medium and the message. And that'll be on July 15th. But that really is also going to be about letting the spirit communicator speak, and to do so in a way that is really validating, uplifting, but also with love and compassion, while also weaving in, that evidence, that practical evidence, but allowing the spirit world to really guide the session and letting it flow through you. So I'm looking forward to that one as well.
Yeah, I think most of the events are up on the website already. I saw your events go up, so many of them are up there. So if anybody's interested, you can already register for these events. So feel free to do that. We're excited to have you here in Lilydale. What's the one thing you're most looking forward to about coming?
Well, there's so many things, to be honest with you. I want to see those trees. And is it a lake then?
Yeah, a big lake here.
Okay, so I do like the water, so I got to make my way over there. And I've heard about this thing called the stump, so I gotta go put my eyes on that.
Well, I'll probably be more than happy to have you as a visiting medium do messages down there if you feel so called.
Okay, that would be great. But I just want to check it all out, and really try to. I love history, actually. So and like you said, it's just amazing when a space is dedicated to something. The atmosphere and the history becomes part of it,
And so the history of the women's movement here
it's amazing. So I'm just excited to take it all in, to be honest, and check out the different spaces. And I heard there's a coffee shop I should go check out, so I haven't been. I just heard wonderful things, and really excited to meet new people. So
Yeah, I mean, that's it. People sit around the porches here in the summertime that don't know each other, and there's always a conversation taking place because there's no strangers.
Oh,
There's
that's
really
cool.
no strangers here, and like-minded people and curious people, and it's a really beautiful atmosphere here in the summertime, that's for sure.
I bet. I bet. Ah, all right.
What you didn't make mention of is that you also made an oracle deck. Is it the same as your book?
Yeah, so it's meant to be a companion piece with the book, and one of those sacred tools, basically, to help you tap into your intuition. So the deck, so I mean, we've all had readings, and I always talk about how readings, a good reading, some of those pivotal moments in our life, they really help to validate what we already knew to be true within ourselves, right? And so this deck was created in the sense of helping to validate what you already know, what you feel, and to be an extension of that soul. And so I'll tell you a little bit about how I designed it, if that's okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay, cool. But yeah, so I'll show you, we have it here. But so I broke it up into different, so I've been doing cards and working with tarot and oracle decks for at least 20 years, probably longer, probably closer to, I won't say 40, but a long time. Okay. So enough time has passed. But I really tried to create a deck that, when you think about what is it that doing readings, what do people need? What do they ask for? How can I help them or be supportive with the deck? So I was considering all those aspects. And then, I also, again, wanted to really focus on the soul piece. So I broke it up into different categories. You can see, here's one of the angel cards. So there's an angel section. So it just has the archangels with some of the transformational messages. And then the next section is the soul's journey, which is very, for those who study tarot, it's very loosely based on the major arcana of like the new beginnings, the fool's journey, all the way to completion. And so the soul's journey section is all about the different cycles that we take in the life, basically, from planting the seeds all the way to manifestation. Okay. And then everybody wants yes, no, maybe. When is it going to happen? When is it coming? So I put in a timing section in the deck. And then I also have crossroads and callings. So basically, time to go, shifts, different things like that, different perspectives. And then working with spirit, I put, angels, guides, your loved ones are near, different messages from the spirit world, basically. So I tried to weave in these different themes, and I'm just so excited with how it came out, and really hope that it helps people, of course. But I've been able to incorporate it into some of my sessions. It's like usually like the blessing card, the last little message for them to take. And say it again.
Who did your artwork?
Well, the illustrator actually is the publisher. She's so fabulous. I work closely with her, and she is just amazing. So really, we work together on it. But, she helped to make this dream come, because, an oracle deck, I was like, yeah, that would be great. But literally I have it on my vision board. Okay, a book and an oracle deck. This will never happen together. That's crazy, right? And then the publisher said, I can see an oracle deck with this. And I was like, oh, that sounds great. So can I? Let's do it. So again, but yeah, so that's really how it kind of came together. And so just very grateful.
I love working with decks myself. They're kind of like my little crutch, if you want to say, when I do readings, or I just like working with decks. Gets me in that mindset and mind space and that side of my brain that I need to be on. So it's a good thing. So before we end up, I asked you if you would kindly shuffle your deck and draw a group card for everybody that's watching for a message for us from your deck.
All right, let's do it. Okay, so what do we need to know? What is the message for us today? And I'm just shuffling. I'm going to wait till one falls out for us. 1 second. Okay, my friends. I love this. So we get divine timing. So it's an angel embracing the hourglass. Okay. And it says, what's meant for you will never pass you by. Let go of the clock and trust spirit's rhythm. So just a beautiful reminder to trust where we are in this moment, to trust that path, to trust your calling. And also sometimes, we try to push the door open or we try to force things. And this is really a reminder that we don't have to, just to allow it to unfold again in that divine timing. And also sometimes growth is happening beneath the surface, like the crocus underneath the ground, that even though we don't always see it, we don't always recognize the changes emerging in our life, it's still happening nonetheless. And to trust that in the right timing, everything is going to bloom and open for you. So that's the message.
That's a beautiful message, a really pretty message. I love that. And I like the picture too.
Thank you.
So perfect for us just passing the spring equinox. So.
Oh yes, we're ready for the spring. Let's go.
All that, be in divine time. So I always like to end with this final question. What is the most important thing you have learned on your spiritual journey?
Well, it's going to sound a little cliche given the entire conversation, but I would say the most important thing is just to trust in the journey, to trust in ourselves, and to trust in our relationship with God, infinite source, with spirit, to trust that when we're not alone, and to trust that even when things may be challenging, or we may be facing, I don't want to say dark times or challenging times, that we recognize that there's always hope, that there is always a light, there's always I really do believe in that ministry of angels, but that the spirit world supports us, and that we are carried even in those moments where we feel so alone. And to remember every night we wake up and there is the dawn. So new beginnings and hope embracing us, but to trust. That's really the biggest thing. And I'm still always working on it as well, but it has helped me navigate those times that aren't always easy. So thank you so much for having me, Nancy.
Yeah, trust is big. It's a big word, and I like that. It's a good answer. Good answer. Can you remind people where to look you up at if they want to learn more about you?
Absolutely. So it's Lori Sheridan Medium.com. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, and thank you. You've been lovely. Thank you all for joining us for another episode of Enlightening Your Way. We will be back again in 2 weeks with another episode. Like I said before, please check this Facebook page. It is the official Lilydale Assembly Facebook page with all the happenings going on, post-season, pre-season, and during season. We got a lot happening this year, and it's being posted daily, so be on the lookout for everything going on in Lilydale. Also, my Facebook page, Wellness with Nancy Lombardo, and Instagram, nancy.k.lombardo, where my motto is protecting and serving your well-being. My name is Nancy Lombardo. Thank you again, Lori, for being with us this evening, and I wish you all a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you.